Okay, so today we're going to be focusing on fractions. One thing we need to realize when we're talking about fractions is that we need to know what it means. It means parts of a whole. So, let's look at this. For example, we have 1/5. The whole is going to be represented by a set of objects, or a length on a number line, or in an area model. Parts of the whole depend on how the whole is defined. So for 1/5, we know that the whole is divided into 5 equal-sized parts. So we'll be looking for one of these parts size 1/5. One thing to really focus on is that all these parts are equal-sized. This is something that kids in school today have a hard time with, understanding that these are going to be all equal parts. If they're not equal, it doesn't work the right way. So, some misconceptions also that children will have at this age learning fractions, 3rd to 5th grade, is that they may look at 1/5 and they may say, okay, the 5, so what's the whole? The whole is 5. But what they really need to focus on is that 5 is actually the parts of the whole. The denominator will always show how many equal-sized parts of the whole. So you have to make sure to tell them that, let's look at this and let's see that there are 5 parts of one whole. So we're looking for 1/5. So one of the 5 equal-sized parts. Today we're going to be focusing on one word problem. It's going to be asking about, like, for example, what is 1/5 of 20? We're going to be doing two different things, focusing mainly on a set model and a linear model. Set models can be a little difficult, so we'll start with the set model to get this going. So we'll look. Here's our problem. What is 4/5 of 20? So let's start with our set model. For our set model, we're going to use color counters. It says 4/5 of 20, so we got to get 20 counters first. Let's make sure we have 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, it's asking us for 4/5 of 20. So we look at our fraction. We look at our denominator. We see that we want our whole, which is 20, to be in 5 equal-sized parts or groups. So first we need to break this up into 5 groups. And by doing that, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have our 5 equal-sized groups, and we see that there are 4 units in each group. So now we're trying to find 4/5. We're trying to find 4 of the 5 groups. So we can do it like this. We'll group the 4 groups together. Flip them over. Sometimes it makes this easier for students so they can really see that these are in groups. You can circle them. So we see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. In each group there are 4 units, and we see again that each of the 5 groups is equally sized because there are 4 units in each. So 4/5. So now that we have 4 of them turned to red, we can see that we have 4 here, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. So we can see in this set model that 4/5 of 20 is 16. Okay, so let's look at this same problem, and let's use a different way of doing it. Let's look at it with a linear model. So, same question, what's 4/5 of 20? So we always have to start with our whole. We know that this is equal to one whole. It needs to be divided up into 5 equal-sized parts. So, we can use our linear model strips. We can see that this shows 5 equal-sized parts size 1/5. remove that because we know this is equal to 1 whole. See that it's 1/5 for each part, and we saw in our linear model that by doing it with the color counters that 1/5 of 20 each of these units will be 4 units. Okay, so it's asking again for 4/5 of 20. So we show that our whole is broken into exactly 5 equal-sized parts. We're looking for 4/5 of it. So we do like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're left with 1/5. So we show that 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 is equal to 4/5, which is also the same as what we saw earlier. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 16. Same answers we saw in the set model. So for this linear model, using a number line, using strips, anyway, it'll show you the same way that 4/5 of 20 is 16, just like we saw. Now remember for fractions that it's always important to focus on the whole and to always say that there are equal parts. If the parts aren't equal, you're not going to find a sufficient answer. Today, these problems, you could have done it for a 4th grade level class. You could do any number that you just have to make sure that this ending number, the number that you're asking, 4/5 of 20, you have to make sure that 20 can be divided into 5 equal parts. So if you did 4/5 of 25, it wouldn't work because it'd have to be broken into would work, size 1/6. But if you did 4/5 of 23, you're not going to have equal sized units to show. So just make sure you have your equal units and that you focus on the whole and what you're looking for and that everything is the same size.